Hi there. I just wanted to share a few tips for cleaning out clutter. So, when I was growing up, I heard a phrase that was use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. And that was something that encouraged hoarding, saving, prepping, and those things aren't necessarily bad. But now we live in a day and age where people are drowning in their stuff, especially if you've got kids or you are a collector or you're married to somebody who just collects, gathers, acquires, and feel like you're drowning in all of the stuff. So there's a newer perspective of abundance that is really valid. There's a lot of stuff and we can share and we can recycle and there are a lot of things being made so that there's not a need to save so much of what we have. There's also, oh, I like to think of my stuff almost like fat on the body. A certain amount is very supportive, it's very helpful, it's good for you, it's healthy, but extra weighs you down and makes you just not feel very good. It saps your energy, it takes time, it takes space. It's just too much doesn't feel good. And some people like to just rearrange their stuff. So they'll take stuff from one room to another, or they'll take stuff from inside the house to storage, or they'll take stuff, um, from, I don't know, in a cupboard to another cupboard, that kind of thing, where they just shift it around and it makes them feel better because it's a little bit more organized. But that's like taking extra fat from your stomach and putting it on your thighs. uh, or maybe behind you so you can't see it very well, but it still weighs you down. It still doesn't feel really great if you're not in balance. So that's just a thought. Sometimes when I want to get rid of things, I have to decide, am I feeling really weighed down? Like I want to get rid of things? Or do I just need to be organized that my stuff is in a good balance? It's just messy. When I think of it on my body, it helps me decide, do I want to rearrange or do I want to get rid of? Do I want to lighten up? So there are two things that I have been doing lately that have really helped. One is to imagine my home and each room as new and clean and empty, and to imagine what would I want to bring into the room if I were moving into a new home, if this were my new home, because it makes me imagine, it gives me freedom to imagine it as clean and me creating the space that I want. I can imagine what I want to be doing in that room and what will support me in that and what really won't. So it helps me create the space that I want. Um, for example, in my kitchen, I know that no matter what kitchen I were living in, I would want my blenders, I would want my spiralizer, I would want my toaster oven. But, I don't really want my waffle iron in the kitchen. I like waffles, but we make them a few times a year. So maybe that's something that I would want to put in an outdoor storage or an underground storage, wherever you have your storage, not something that I want to keep in the house. Um, and I have a cheese maker that, we just don't use that often. I had a mini pie maker for a while that we just didn't use ever. So I got rid of it. And then later I decided to get another one, but it was smaller, more like tarts. But that I keep out in the storage because we don't use that very often. So it's kind of, what that's an example of things that I want and that are supportive to have around, just not in my immediate space. In my room, I have custom bookcases that I absolutely love. I have beautiful nightstands that I absolutely love, but I don't really need my extra footstool that's here, or I have a full length mirror that's kind of breaking up. I don't really use it. I don't really like it. So it helps me imagine what I want and how I want to create my space. And then the last thing is the thing that's helped me the most is to find your golden question, to a question that helps prompt an emphatic yes or no, and just kind of an emotional answer. So Marie Kondo is a real famous, like, tidy up, clutter, organize professional. And one of her big questions is, Does it spark joy? She says, if you hold something, does it spark joy? Does it make you feel joyful in the moment immediately? And if it doesn't, throw it out. That doesn't inspire me, I would say. It just doesn't do it for me. Another one is, how long has it been since I've used it? And if it's been more than a month, but less than 6, you put it in storage. If it's been more than 6 or between 6 and a year, you get rid of it. So they use kind of a time thing of how often to use it. That one really doesn't work for me either, but it can for some people. And another one is, could I give it to someone who would really appreciate it and use it if I'm not using it much? Again, that one doesn't do for me. My personal golden question is, if this item were suddenly to disappear, would I go to the store and buy the same item for full price? There are a lot of things that will come into my life as an opportunity as something that is free or something that is cheap. I got a great deal on it. And so it's a kind of a justification. But if I ask myself, would I pay full price for this? Would I happily do that? It gives me a sense of how much I value the item and how much it contributes to my life. That has been my golden question. It prompts an emphatic yes or no. There's not a lot of gray area and helps me make that decision. So I've been going through my storage and my house and just really enjoying using those two things, imagining the space I want to create and then using my golden question to make decisions. And I've been kind of opening up some of my outdoor storage so that I can have my home be more of everything that I'm using right now. And then I've got a little bit of an extension of my home into a storage area that I can get really quickly, really easily. But if it if it doesn't fit into my life, I can trust that if I need it, I'll be able to find it or I'll be able to get it again sometime. And it gives me that freedom to just release. And that was just a wonderful feeling of lightening up, making space for other things, creating a space that has free flowing energy. Um, it's wonderful. Tips for children. I have often asked my children to clean up, and I'll say, just you can organize the stuff you want, then you can give me a pile for things to give away and things to put in storage. And then I'll just tell them, you can basically have a garage sale. You can, anything that you want to sell me, I'll buy. And I just buy their stuff. So it gives them an opportunity to make a little bit of money. It helps them decide, would I rather sell this or would I rather keep it, because they're motivated by making a little extra money. And I always just tell them, no strings attached. If I buy it, it's mine. I can put it in storage. I can give it away. I can throw it away, whatever. So make sure that if you are willing to sell it, you're willing to really give it away. And that really works for my kids. And then as it comes to a spouse, if you have a spouse that's a hoarder, which my husband is a collector and an acquirer, I'm more of a let it go person. The only thing that I have personally been able to do in a way that we both feel good about is just make some space boundaries. I have areas that are mine and I control, and he has lots and lots and lots of areas that are his. But the better we keep those boundaries so that his stuff isn't encroaching into my space, that's really important for our just cooperation, peace of mind, so he can have the space that he wants to store his tools and his things that he wants, and I can have the freedom to have space that is clean and tidy, or at least isn't just stagnant, full of stuff that I don't want or isn't going anywhere. So hopefully those tips are helpful, and good luck just creating the space that is supportive for you in your life right now.